If you want to play college basketball, this is the video you need to watch. We're going to break down 10 concepts that you need to know regardless of what level of basketball you think you can play at the next level. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at Division I, Division II, and Division III basketball, and you're gonna see that at every level, these 10 things happen on a regular basis, so coaches are looking for players who understand them, and it's gonna give you an opportunity to get on the court if you can do them well when you show up on campus. And if you're a coach, you need to be teaching your athletes these concepts. So I've attached links in the description over several of these topics, breaking them down even further. But before we get into it, let me tell you about the sponsor of this video. Coaches, if you're looking for a new customizable board, then Hoops King is the place for you. Their website is easy to navigate and you can customize your board down to the most personal details. And having a two-sided feature will allow you to keep track of everything that you need to come game time. And you can select your line options. So whether you're in high school, college, or the NBA, there's a board just for you, which is one of the reasons the Los Angeles Lakers purchased their boards from Hoops King. And I can personally guarantee you that the logo that you customize on the website will look exactly the same way in person, if not better. And they guarantee swift delivery, so you'll have your new board within 10 days of ordering. The link to their website is in the description, or just type in hoopsking.com. The number one most important thing that you have to do at the next level defensively is communicate. Something as simple as switching off the ball requires you to talk and listen, and it's something that most high school players don't do, and coaches are demanding that they do better when they first get on the court. You will not find a good defensive team that doesn't communicate with each other constantly. So something as simple as this ball screen requires the big to not only get in position, but he has to talk early and loud enough to make sure that the guard knows the screen is coming. And when you communicate, it needs to be verbal and nonverbal. Notice how these defenders from Mississippi State aren't just talking, but they're trying to point out what they see, because it can be difficult in a loud arena to hear each other. These guys are even talking to each other right after the play is dead. And the reason why these little communications are so important is because making one mistake can result in a bucket. You'll see right here that this defender is telling his teammate to switch, and because they weren't on the same page, it turns into an immediate three. And it's difficult during a fast-paced game to communicate all the time, which is why coaches want you to do it every day in practice. In this situation, there are 3 defenders back, and they need to talk to each other. Somebody needs to take the ball, somebody needs to protect the rim, and one defender is going to have 2 until everybody else gets back. But nobody says a word to each other, and it results in this easy layup. So one of the fastest ways to get noticed by college coaches is to do a great job talking defensively. You'll notice that there is a switch right here on this ball screen, and I want you to pay attention to number 3 as he yells at his teammate and points to get this switch back to their original matchups. That's a great example of what communication should look and sound like on the court. Topic number 2 seems like something simple, but it's extremely important: being in a stance. I want you to pay attention to the bottom of your screen right here at Omaha Blue. He's off the ball, and he is in a defensive stance, active with his feet, not standing still, seeing the ball and his man, and constantly moving. And the same goes for Trevor Hudgens, who's highlighted right here. In a stance, seeing both ball and man, and being very active with his feet. One of the things that I see a lot in high school basketball is when someone's not guarding the ball, they are not in a stance and they're not active with their head or being prepared to close out. This is something you're going to have to be able to do at the college level, and coaches will not let you get away with not being in a stance, whether you're guarding the ball or you're in help defense. And that flows into our third topic, which is being in a gap and stunting. When it comes to college basketball, you're not going to be able to just stand next to your man and make sure he doesn't score. If you look at this line between the ball and the next offensive player, you're going to see that every single one of these defensive players is somewhere on that line, which is what's referred to as being in a gap, and then they're going to close out to their man on the flight of the ball. And the reason you need to be in a gap is so that you can stunt, and one of the places that we do that is off of the dribble. So he's going to close this gap so that the ball handler can't get to the rim, and then he's going to close out to his man after he picks it up. And so being in that gap allows you to close down that space as the ball handler goes to drive, and then you're going to work back out to your man. And this same concept applies when the ball gets thrown into the post, but people typically refer to this as digging or choking in the post, but it's the same concept. And the other place that we stunt is off the pass. So anytime somebody is late closing out to their man, we want to stunt if we're the next defender over to discourage them from shooting it while our man recovers back to his closeout. Now the goal in this stunt is we want to break the offensive player's rhythm in his shot. So right here, I would say he's not close enough to the shooter to impact his rhythm, so he needs to get closer on that stunt. So now that you've seen a few examples, watch and see if you can tell where this defender should have stunted at the shooter and didn't, and it resulted in a bucket. The next topic should go without saying, but it's boxing out. And everybody on the team needs to do this consistently every possession. Getting inside position, pushing your man out, and making sure that you can come down with the rebound. And even though this is something that's talked about all the time, way too often defenders get caught staring at the basketball, standing in the paint, thinking the ball's just gonna fall in their lap, and they give up offensive rebounds because of it. And if you're ever in a situation like this, the best thing might be to actually push your defender underneath the rim because of where the ball is most likely going to bounce. This is an area of the game that you are quickly going to get called out in when it comes to film sessions if you're not doing this consistently, because you never know if your man is going to be the guy who gets the offensive rebound. So in this situation, this player right here thinks that he can just go in because his man's not a threat, and he ends up giving up that offensive rebound. The next topic is getting through off-ball screens. And the two main screens you're going to see off the ball is going to be a flare screen and a down screen. And with the exception of switching, there are two ways to get through this screen. The first is to chase, which means you're gonna follow your matchup off the screen. And the other way is to shoot the gap, which means you go on the other side of the screen and meet him like you see right here. And in a flare screen, the same thing applies. You can either chase over the top or you can shoot the gap like you see right there. The main reason for chasing a guy off of a down screen is if they're a good shooter and you don't want to give them any space. When you do this, you want to get low and skinny and drop your shoulder so that you don't get hit by that screen. And if you shoot the gap, you still need to make sure you drop that shoulder and get through the screen, because if they do shoot it off of a fade, you have to make sure you contest. So in this clip, you'll see both examples. Number 1 is going to chase off of this down screen, and then number 14 shoots the gap right there at the free throw line. The next topic is penetration rotation. Anytime someone gets beat off the dribble and gets downhill, somebody needs to be there to rotate to stop these open layups from happening. And there's a variety of philosophies on how to rotate, but there are no coaches that are okay with somebody driving baseline and nobody being there to help and giving up easy layups. And this is the purpose of shell drill, which most of you have done, but you're guaranteed to do it at the college level. So on this baseline drive, as soon as he takes this first bounce, you're going to notice the rotation, which is referred to as the help man, but then somebody has to help his man, which is often referred to as the crackback. So it's helping the helper. And this works anywhere on the court. So even on a middle drive, here's your help man, and there is your crackback, who ends up getting a steal as the offensive player tried to dump it down to the room. And here's one more example of a middle drive happening. So the big has to rotate over to contest, and this guard has to crack back on this big, and he ends up getting the defensive rebound because of it. And depending upon where you play, you might get taught a lot of different philosophies, but one of the main ones is that you want for the bottom or the low man to be in the hole or on the midline. So anytime that someone does drive, you're already there to rotate, and that's what a lot of really good defensive teams do. The next topic we're going to cover is ball screen coverage. If you are the on-ball defender, one of the best things that you can do to get playing time is learn how to get through screens without getting hit. And this is very similar to the topic when we were talking about off-ball screens and chasing. You need to never give up your chest to the screener. You want to try and stay skinny and lead with your shoulder to reduce the opportunity for the big to be able to hit you with his screen. Now the other option to get through a screen is to go underneath it, which is like shooting the gap, but you have to do it quickly so that you don't get washed out by the big. And this might be one of the hardest things to do at the college level because you'll get hit with multiple screens in one possession. He got through the first one, but that second one he gave up his chest and the guard only needed a little bit of space to knock down this mid-range jumper. And you might get put in a situation like this where you have to go off of 2 screens or a double stagger and chase your matchup, and right when you get through that, you're getting hit with a ball screen from someone who's 7'4", and if you get hung up like this, you're going to make it really difficult on the big and give up shots like this. And as a post player, you're equally as responsible in these ball screens. So if you run some type of a drop coverage, you need to be in a stance, communicating with your guard, and being as active as possible with your hands while trying to keep your matchup in front of you as you drop. And the higher level that you play at, the more talented and skilled the guards are, so the more important your coverage is. Because in this situation, the guard is a little late getting through the screen, the big is a little low with his hands, and they're getting torched by this guard. Now, topic number 8 is probably the most important because of the frequency at which you're going to do it, and it's closing out. A successful closeout is anytime the ball gets thrown to your matchup and you are trying to take away 3 things: an open shot, a drive to the right, and a drive to the left. And that doesn't mean that your matchup can't do any of those things, but you don't want to give up an easy 3 or a blow by either direction where your teammates have to help. So somebody who is really good at closing out has the ability on this closeout that when their matchup shoots it, they're able to get off the ground quickly and get a really good contest. But if they close out to their matchup and they're going to drive, they're under control and they're able to slide their feet and cut them off and not give up any advantages. And what you see a lot in closeouts, it's guys either get driven right by and it forces help, or they go to slide their feet and they don't get to the spot quick enough and they end up getting called for blocking calls like you see right here, or they close out so short that they give up these rhythm catch and shoot threes without impeding their vision at all. Now, the best tip I can give you when it comes to closing out is try and move on the flight of the ball. The quicker that you can jump that pass, the easier it is. And this leads to our 9th topic, which is contesting shots. Now, in my opinion, the 2 standards of having a good contest are: number 1, you extend your arm as high as you can and you have to leave the ground. There's been statistics done on contested shots versus uncontested shots, and you closing out and getting a great contest significantly lowers the percentage chance that your matchup is going to make this shot. And you should be doing this whether it's a catch and shoot 3, a mid-range jump shot, or even a layup. You always want to contest shots because college players are so talented that if you contest with your arm out like this below their chest, they're not even going to see your hand, and it's like a warm-up jump shot and you're going to get scored on a lot. Now, the last topic is certainly not the least important. It's tagging. Tagging is any time that somebody is rolling or running to the rim and you have the ability to impede their progress and stop them. So on this ball screen, as the big goes to roll, these 2 defenders right here are known as tag defenders, and they're responsible for chucking or tagging this roll man so that he can't just get a free and clear run to the rim. You'll see on this ball screen coverage as they hard hedge, this defender right here is responsible for tagging the roll man as the big returns back to his, and then he's going to close out to his gap. This is extremely important in pick and roll because if you're the tag man, you have the ability to get steals or at least keep the big from getting open catches, because the result of not tagging is often wide open shots. So you'll see right here as he comes off this back screen, this defender is sitting there pointing when he should be tagging, but because he stands there and watches, he gives up a wide open layup. And anytime your matchup is setting a screen, you need to tag. So on this rip screen, as the big comes through, this defender right here needs to tag so that he's not open, but because he stays attached and doesn't do it, he gives up this easy layup. Don't forget to check out the links in the description of this video, and the 10 concepts that you need to know offensively is right here. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you next time in the film room.